In this Starfield video, we will be taking a look at the very best Star Wars ship designs that have been created by the community. Even more iconic and obscure Star Wars ship designs have been made, and they are fantastic. Much like in my previous Starfield Star Wars ship design videos, we will be taking a look at all of them in detail. Before we do take a look at them though, make sure you do subscribe to this channel so you won't miss any future Starfield videos. The first one in the showcase is the SANDCRAWLER from CALIARTIST. So as you can see, they have recreated the SANDCRAWLER within Starfield. So even though it's not really practical in space, it does actually work on planets, especially ones that are full of sand, which just gets everywhere. The shape and colour scheme does work for this, and it's a cool cargo ship to go flying around in, even though it is a ground vehicle. Even the landing gear has been well thought out, as that would be where treads would be on the actual SANDCRAWLER, and it's a good replacement for it. We have seen a few X-Wings, but this one from Dr. Dre is really well done, and it's the first that I've seen that's really done well with the open wings for attack formation. Also, the colour scheme is good for Red Squadron. As you can see, it even has R2-D2 in the astromech section behind where Luke would be. It's not as sleek as the other X-Wings we've seen because of the wings being open, but in my opinion, it's still really good. Probably the most recreated ship so far in Starfield is the MILLENNIUM FALCON, and this one from Imagination Flat 3371 is, I think, the best one. In terms of proportions, it's very accurate. It has a real good shape to it that I don't think anyone else has quite captured. For me, a lot of recreations got either the prongs just right and the cockpit wrong, or the cockpit right and the prongs wrong. Also, the slopes are really well done. It's not super sleek, but it's also not blocky like a lot of them. And the roundness to it, the shaping of the sides, it works so well. It's magnificent, really. And they also created a build guide as well to go with it, so you can recreate it, which I'll leave linked with all of the other builds shown in this video. In the last few days, I have seen a few U-Wings recreated, but this one from Ethan Not Eat Han has done a really good job, and is the best in my opinion. The colour scheme looks great, but also they've designed the ship to look and resemble the actual U-Wing in terms of proportions. The U-Wing is a little bit bigger than you'd think, and I really do like the front section and the mid section of this ship here, and a good recreation if you do like this design from Rogue One. I've read many comments on my videos asking, has someone made the Stinger Mantis? And I've had to reply with no, because no one had done that until now, because Destroyer 123 has rebuilt the Stinger Mantis from the Star Wars Jedi games, Fallen Order and Survivor. It is a little bit blocky, especially on the wing on the right hand side, but nevertheless, it's really well done in my opinion. It's got the colour scheme as close as it can be. It's got the overall design, which isn't necessarily easy to do. Hexen Hammer 1 has recreated General Grievous' starfighter, which is actually called the Soulless One. And as you can see, it's really well done. It's got the colour scheme down, it has the weapon systems and the shaping. I didn't think people would try and recreate this, but it's a really good attempt. This is one of those more unique ships that isn't seen in Star Wars very often, but since Revenge of the Sith it has been a fan favourite, which many people do see as a more iconic ship from the prequel era. Zam Wesell's Corro 2 Speeder is another iconic prequel era ship, and that has been recreated within Starfield by Cloudgash. The colour scheme is what makes it really stand out among all of the other speeders that we saw in that sequence in the film, and even though it is a more simple and small ship to recreate, I wanted to showcase it anyway because I know a lot of people do like this ship. It's simple but small and definitely not on the larger side, which not everyone wants. The Outrider is another Star Wars video game ship design, and this recreation in Starfield is coming from the designer of the Outrider himself. It's John Knowles, who worked at LucasArts on games such as Shadows of the Empire. It is not as round as the Outrider, which is a YT-2400 light freighter, but nevertheless, it still has that shape, and coming from the guy that made it, I had to show it. The MG-100 Starfortress bomber is an iconic ship from the more recent era of Star Wars, and this was recreated by Grounding Unit 8. It has this really unique design that is really captured well within Starfield. I do like this ship's design, so I had to include it, and it is also a good recreation. It's got the small details like the wings, the engine location, the structure of it. It's really well done. This is Lando's Millennium Falcon, so it is another Millennium Falcon, but it's the one as seen in Solo: A Star Wars Story, and it's from Intention Adept 563. And I really do like this colour scheme that we got in Solo. I also do like how the escape pod is in the front of the ship. Even though it's not the best Millennium Falcon recreation that we've seen in terms of proportions and such, I do like that they've tried to go with this colour scheme and put the escape pod back in. Luthen's Fondor Hallcraft, as seen in Andor, was awesome. It had some great scenes, and Cap 10 Phasma recreated it in Starfield, and I do like how it looks. Due to the angles and stuff like that, I'm not sure how accurate you can get it, but this is a good attempt. I've not seen anyone try it yet, and I just thought I had to include it because a lot of people do like this ship, and this is a good recreation. This is yet another The Ghost recreation, but it's done so well. This is really, really well done by TR91. It's got the colour scheme, it's got the design. I think the front, middle, sides and rear of the ship is really, really well done and true to what we see in Star Wars Rebels and now the Ahsoka show. In particular, the engine placement and whatnot is really well done and definitely deserves some praise. It's not as smooth as what we get in the Star Wars media, but nevertheless, I do think it's the best attempt yet. SCHRIMPETH has recreated the Hammerhead Corvette, and it's absolutely huge. It obviously makes use of mods on PC. They also give us this fantastic video that showcases the interior and exterior of it in flight, and wow, it's humongous. It really, really is. It's impressive how much time was spent putting this together. The shaping is really, really well done. I would have liked to have seen more colour like the previous Hammerhead Corvette I've showcased. It did have that yellow and white colour scheme. This one's a little bit different, that's fine, but it does have the design down, specifically the hammerhead itself, right at the front of the ship, and the rear as well, even the mid sections. I thought this small N1 Starfighter build was quite good, because it's a more simple ship to put together, it doesn't require as many parts, or as much progression to go through the game. It's got a nice colour scheme, it's got R2-D2 in the astromech section, and there are a bunch of screenshots showing you how to put it together, which is a nice touch. It's really helpful when people do put their guides up to show how you can actually recreate this, and it's not a very difficult one to put together, so this is one of the more easier recreations that you can probably achieve. The C-9979 landing craft, which is just a fan favourite ship from Star Wars The Phantom Menace, is now here from NALZIR in Starfield, and I'm a huge fan of this ship. It's not super close to what we get in Star Wars, but I do like the design, it's really inspired by it, and it's got the colour scheme down as well. There have been a few pod racers recreated, and this one is SEBULBA'S from Spirited Ad 177.6. The engine work is really well done, and it does have the purple power in between the two sides of the ship. Which of these recreations were your favourite? Let me know down in the comment section below. And remember, all of the links for all of these recreations are in the description below. If you did enjoy this video, please do drop a like, subscribe so you don't miss any future Starfield videos from me. And if you did miss any of my previous videos, click on the playlist on screen right now, and I shall see you in my next video. Goodbye.